Hello again and welcome to Infinite Transcendence. This is part 2 of the Most Important Word to Success series, and today I want to talk about specifically how no good deed goes unpunished. You've heard of this saying before, maybe you have, maybe you hadn't. People see it as more of a cynical saying, but I find it to be very true. What does no good deed goes unpunished mean? Basically it means instead of a lot of times you're trying to help somebody or do the quote-unquote right thing, whoever determines whatever that is, you try to be altruistic or quote-unquote helpful. You end up hurting yourself in the long run because you end up getting screwed over or taken advantage of, or something else goes wrong. You may help a person out. You may, for instance, a story like this would be like a Good Samaritan. Person's trapped in a car, car's on fire, their life's at stake. A Good Samaritan breaks in, opens the car, yanks them out of there and gets them to safety. But the person in the process gets their leg broken. There have been stories of people who get injured in a rescue attempt and then sue the Good Samaritan. That's an example of no good deed goes unpunished. That would be an example. Or for instance, you help somebody else out or you try to help somebody else out and then you end up getting screwed, or you try to take advantage of, you try to, for instance, move a person into your house and give them shelter and they end up stealing from you. That would be an example of no good deed goes unpunished. So what I want to talk about, this is where you need to learn to develop a me first attitude. Be selfish. No, people don't like to hear it, but I'm going to talk about this in a future articles, in a future video series as well, as the power of selfishness. To get ahead in life, you got to learn to be selfish. Doesn't mean the selfishness is not bad. We're all self-interested. Everybody is. I don't care what they say. Every decision you make, from eating, sleeping, having kids, having sex, hobbies, whatever you choose to do is following your own self-interest. But you want to follow your own self-interest in a way that's productive. And you can do it in a way that's helpful, but you can do it in a way that it suits you. For instance, I have a business. I make my business so I can have freedom and make lots of money. That's why I do it to fulfill myself. But how do I fulfill myself? I give others what they desire, whether it's goods, services, products, entertainment, and then I get compensated for it voluntarily. That would be an example of positive self-interest. An example of negative self-interest would be, I want money and I steal from you. I rob you at gunpoint. That would be a negative form of self-interest because I am hurting you to benefit myself. Now, a lot of people like to say that all self-interest is harming others, but it's not. You're still following your own self-interest. You can do it in a rational way. No good deed unpunished comes from people who want to be helpful or help family, help friends, help somebody end up getting hurt. And there's tons of examples to this. And I find in life to make my own rules and to stick to my rules. Once I set a rule, whether it's in relationships or dating or whatever, or business particularly, is to set that rule and don't bend on it. For instance, I don't accept checks. Like I've said many times before, too much hassle, too much chasing, too many people saying they're going to pay and then they don't pay. I got to chase them around. I'm just too busy for it. I want online pay. This is 2017, pay online. Now you occasionally get a person, generally an older person, who just wants to pay by check. They don't want to pay online. I say, well, you can use the online payment system and use your checking information there, or you can even give me the check and I can put it in there because I can just use the account and routing number. Because whenever you write a check, you're getting the account and routing number with the name and you're inserting into a bank. That's how you get paid. People still become paranoid about it, make excuses like, oh, I've been screwed over before. But I'm like, look, I've been screwed over before. The difference is, as a business owner, it's much harder for me to get what I need back. I got to chase you down. I got to try to file a lien on your property, go to a collections agency. It's too much hassle. Whereas if you're as a customer, something happens to you, you can just call the bank, say there's an unauthorized charge and get your money back. It doesn't even happen that often, but that's part of life. Sometimes you have an unauthorized charge. I try to explain this to them, and I'm always available, but some people are just adamant on it. Now, at times I've accepted checks or people try to write money orders. I've always don't get paid a lot of times, or it takes too long to get paid. I got to chase them down for my money. Oh, I did pay you. I'm going to write you a check. I got to chase them back and forth, and I just get tired of it. Every time I try to break one of my own rules to help somebody, quote unquote, get a customer, end up hurting me. And there's other rules, like there's other things I don't do or choose not to do in my business, where when I used to do them, there's certain things I don't accept. There's certain types of things there's certain qualifications and screening. I have a service agreement, online pay, things like that are screening tools to screen out the bad customers from the good. Not only just to get a service agreement for myself, but to screen out the ones who don't want to sign it, because those customers are generally ones who like to have hassle and like to break the rules and change the rules. Same thing with this. You have rules in life, don't break them. If your rule is not to give others money, don't give others money. Now, maybe if it's a death emergency and your kid's dying or something, of course, if that's different. You might make an exception there. That's about the only time. But loaning money, lots of problems. That's a major one, because I can give you a story from my own experience. I don't even believe in doing it. I've always been that way about it. Know a lot of irresponsible people, especially friends and family, and I had one time, we were talking a lot. This is back when I was religious, and we talked about religion a lot, and one time he talked about money, but I knew something was wrong because we talked about money, and his point of view on being responsible with money was like, well, you can't judge people, or you can't say that's being irresponsible, because people like that need to be tested from above. And I'm thinking to myself, what test? You can't overspend, don't do it. And I thought something was up with that, but one time he contacted me, he said, I need some money, a certain amount of money. This is some years back. And I said, okay, so I'm going to pay you back in like a week or two, whenever he gets his paycheck. So I did it, and, time went on. Like, where's my money? Oh, I'm going to pay you this time. Where's my money? And then a certain amount of time comes by. He calls me. He's like, well, I had to tell you the truth. I gambled that money because I was going to pay you. My goal was to make 3 times the amount I owed you and pay you and then pay myself the rest. I'm thinking to myself, so you didn't really care about paying me. You really just cared about doing what you wanted for yourself. Because even if you took that money I gave you and used it for whatever, an emergency or something you needed done, you should have paid me back when you got your check first. But people don't think that way. They think about putting themselves ahead, and they don't care what happens to you. And then after that, I was already not too thrilled. I didn't talk to him as much after that. And then he contacts me again and asked me for some more money for his kid who's coming in town. I said, well, you have to call your mom or something about that, or call another family member. And I just stopped, didn't really keep up with him because I got tired of it. I didn't believe in loaning money, and then you do it, you get screwed, and I put an end to it there. Now, I know people who loaned out lots more than that. I never ever went that far. Who just kept loaning and loaning. But and my attitude about it is, look, I don't owe you anything. Friends, family, I associate with people who I want to, not out of a sense of obligation. And I work hard for what I have. And I'm going to give it to a person who's going to sit there and gamble. I don't gamble. Why the hell should I give you my money that I had to get out and work hard for to go gamble when I don't even gamble? It's ridiculous. And there's tons of examples of no good deed goes unpunished in life. Bad customers, loaning people money. You did something for an ex or a boyfriend, girlfriend. They screwed you over. They cheated on you. You try to help a person out, and you'll find that people will often stab you in the back, and people, especially closest to you, will often take advantage of the fact that you're related to them or that they know you to get something out of you. And I gave another. I've hired friends, or I've helped friends get jobs. That back when I worked, I did a small stint here and there, and they were always complaining about how things were unfair and they couldn't get ahead. I actually helped them get a job. They didn't show up. They showed up a little bit, stopped showing up, started sleeping in. That's another example. No good deed goes unpunished. If you were that motivated to get some work, you'd have been out looking for work and getting work. You'd have been asking me, do you know any place that is hiring? But I had to come to you about it. That shows you're not motivated. If you're in a bed sleeping till 3 p.m. with no job, that shows me you're not motivated. You're too busy playing video games, whatever else. And that the type of attitude is why I'm scarce with my help and I'm scarce with my time. So be careful with whom you help. Be careful with how you help. There's a lot of times the best help is to not help somebody. And this is very difficult for people, especially with family and things. They want to be ostracized or seen as a part. But a lot of times, it's either me or them. And I have people I get along with. I have a lot of family, and I get along with them overall pretty decently. I have somebody I don't talk to all of them all the time. But if I had to choose between me getting screwed over and you getting what you want at my expense, forget that. You have your even parents, for instance, or anybody. To me, you have decades to save up. You can't afford a kid, don't have a kid, but you have decades to save up. Have a kid when you can afford it. You have 50 years to put away money, and then you get old and you didn't plan, and now you're supposed to be bailed out. But then what if I bail you out and then I'm old? What am I supposed to do? Have my kid bail me out? I don't even have any kids, and then it's just a cycle of bad planning. Save and plan for the future. Stop living for today. Stop living in the moment. Stop overbuying and overspending. There's nothing wrong with helping people within a reasonable amount, helping them in other ways, or helping people when an emergency comes. I have no problem with realistic help. But the problem I have with is there's some people who are designated to quote unquote be givers, where some people there's never balance. And people say, what about family? But it's never a balanced deal. From my attitude about it, I'd rather just hire somebody to get the job done and move on, because in most cases, there's always people who take, and then they want you to give, and then they never do anything back. So 99, I'm always doing things myself, and the one rare exception where I might want a small favor done, very minor favor, not even money or anything, I don't have time, I'm too busy, I'm too tired. But then they want something 99% of the time. Like the trade-off and cost is so much, it's so bad, it's not worth it for me. You got family members, then you have people with one of the worst things people have is like, you have irresponsible siblings, and then, one sibling gets all the help, and then when you need help, you don't even get it, but the other irresponsible person keeps getting loans and things, but then when they need something, they come to you. You often have a lot of times where parents come to one kid to get money to give to the other kid, and it's like, put yourself first. Learn that no good deed goes unpunished. Lots of examples of this. I go on and on about this one forever. There's been stories about especially in our more anti-male type of culture, where men have helped small children find their parents, been accused of trying to molest them. Well, there's another example. And nowadays, you just have to be really careful. Nothing wrong with being helpful, but learn the word no. Learn that a lot of these things you see as good deeds can come back and bite you in the butt. Learn to put yourself first, have some courage and some backbone. Develop a what's in it for me mentality. Or, for instance, marriage. A lot of guys thought they're going to marry the right person, thought they were doing the right thing, ended up getting screwed, lost everything. Determine what's best for you, and don't do what others say you should do because it's the quote unquote right thing. Because most of the time people do what's right for themselves and they'll tell you it's the right thing, but it's not really right for you, it's right for them. Do what's right for you. Male, female, I don't care who you are. Learn to say no and learn to put yourself first. Because again, no good deed goes unpunished. So let me know what you think about this. Do you feel this way? Have you had experiences in your life? I'm sure you have had some experiences. Definitely comment in the video, comment in the article, like, subscribe for new and interesting content, and transcend infinitely. And the final part of this series, I'm going to talk about owning your own time and treating it first. It's going to wrap up where I talk about how learning to say no and starting to master your own time and devote it to things that benefit yourself. So again, transcend infinitely.